Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and thank you, Minister, for coming into the House today. I appreciate you've had a busy few days. Before I address yourself, I just want to go back to say to 2008, and as a woman, I cannot for the life of me understand how, and I tried to get at this at the Health Committee yesterday, how the government, being in the Minister for Health, Mary Harney, and the Fianna Fáil cabinet made the decision to outsource such an important service to America. It just doesn't add up. Something stinks here. There's something, it just does not add up. When you have advice from the experts like Dr. David Gibbons, like others, like somebody like him feeling strong enough to actually resign over this, and you had the Well Woman clinics, that's on top of all the politicians in terms of Keeping O'Callaghan and many others, and indeed Dr. James Riley, all saying this is the wrong thing to do, this is what's going to happen in 10 years' time. And still they went ahead and decided in their wisdom that this was the right thing to do. I cannot. It doesn't add up, and I think that certainly requires forensic and intensive investigation, and I intend to play a part in that. Even from a data protection point of view, all of women's details being held in America, that certainly doesn't sit with me either. Maybe I'd ask you, Minister, in terms of making the decision to bring back that service to the country, how you could see it happening, how long it might take, what it would cost. And I don't buy into that we didn't have the capacity in this country to do it. We were after going through a boom where we had money coming out the ears of those in the golden circles, and how the facilities that were here weren't given the proper investment. So, I'm really sorry, Jennifer, but Fianna Fáil's protestations around all of this doesn't just hold any credibility for me whatsoever. Now, I would ask you, Minister, in terms of the open disclosure, but what concerns me as well is that, do you think now it was a mistake for you to put in the amendment, for the government and supported by Fianna Fáil, to put in the amendment for voluntary disclosure rather than mandatory disclosure in the bill, the duty of candour bill that went through last year? Was that a mistake? Because I think it's important that we admit the mistakes that were made, that we face up to them. Otherwise, we cannot hope to find solutions to them. But the current scandal is unfolding day by day, and more is learned from the media than has been given to concerned women by the HSE. I found the whole Health Committee thing yesterday very, very frustrating. I found some of the language being used by Tony O'Brien in particular deeply condescending and insulting to women and to the families of the women who are deceased. It just doesn't fit. But yesterday in the Dáil, the Taoiseach described this cover-up as a cock-up. I was deeply disturbed to hear him as well use such glib and dismissive language about such a serious issue as life and death. And Vicky Phelan this morning has called on Tony O'Brien to resign. And I think if we say we're listening to her, we need to hear what she's saying. Accountability cannot exist where responsibility is not accepted by individuals. Minister, you can't have it both ways either. Either you have full confidence in Tony O'Brien or he has to go. The fact is that Tony O'Brien has presided over negligence, concealment and misinformation with the most serious consequences for women and their families. He can't remain as Director General. That is the very least the women affected and their families need to see. You say that you want a full investigation to discover all of the facts and ultimately to restore confidence in the screening programme. But we don't need an inquiry to determine that women with cervical cancer were not given critical information in relation to their health care. We know that at least 17 women went to their graves not knowing. We still don't know how many more women didn't know. And we don't know how many more women don't know right now here. And I appreciate that you're putting things in place with the GPs. I was deeply concerned on Monday morning that the GPs didn't, and I'd experienced it myself, that the GPs didn't know what to. They said, well, we haven't been given anything. We don't know what to, we don't know what to do or what to put in place. I'm also concerned that, as I was told, you can go to a consultant and pay €150. That's okay, I'm in a position to do that. But for many women, they wouldn't be. So I want to ask you, if your own GP doesn't do smear tests, and there's referrals to consultants, I mean, is the consultant's fee going to be paid as well, or where do those women go to? I have much more I want to say, but I want to ask you, are you going to order an audit for breast check and for the other medical checks as well? Because I think confidence needs to be restored in all of those services, because I absolutely believe in screening. Would you maybe confirm to me as well, because very confusing in the committee yesterday, that there was a 30% failure rate on the cervical screening? Maybe you could just explain that. Could I also ask you, in terms of the redress scheme, why can that not be set up before an inquiry is concluded? And I just want to see, are you and your department involved in the decisions to fight medical negligence cases? Is an opinion sought from either yourself or from the HSE in that case? I have much more, Minister. I do appreciate you coming in. I'm sure there'll be more opportunities for us to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.